Greetings and a very warm welcome to the channel. The sun is hiding and the magpie is casting. Coming to you guys right now with a live 1 vs 1 battle fresh from the ladder, featuring spawning in the south. It's going to be the United Kingdom forces of Fredbrik. And spawning in the north, it's going to be the Wehrmacht forces of Shadowwada. So, actually I believe two players who I have cast before, so two returning players here. So welcome back to the channel to our two combatants here. The map today, for our entertainment, is going to be Angerville. This, of course, is... I'll just pan around to sort of refresh your memories of it. This map, of course, is, I would say, one of the slightly more unusual ones on the ladder. It's very asymmetrical, but not insofar as player spawn symmetrical. It's kind of left-right asymmetrical. So each player has even access to two different halves of the map. The left-hand side of this map, of course, characterized by open farmlands, a couple of hedgerows and things like that for cover, but very little in the way of line-of-sight blockers and structures. The right-hand side of the map, completely different, lots of line-of-sight blockers and lots of garrisonable structures, and also this kind of wall thing here, which later on can be smashed down, but for now represents quite the line-of-sight blocker. Looks like we've got an early skirmish here as a couple of Tommies going to get up into a nice forward position, but there's an MG42 and some Grenadiers in position. I'm going to push them away for now. That MG42 in quite a nice position there in the green cover, but I'm sure the Axis player there, Shadowwada, going to want to move it on into one of these buildings as soon as he can, and these Tommies doing a reasonable job at obstructing that. On the left of the map, we've got a squad of Pioneers coming up for the Axis player. They're going to start chewing up some ground, so good move there. And if I crack the tack, you can see the British player actually hasn't committed any forces at all to the left right now. So those Pioneers stand to grab a lot of ground, make up a few resources, maybe even grab that victory point and get some victory point slide going here. As the British player does actually have one of the victory points, this one kind of his pocket victory point. The Axis player, I'm sure, would like to be even on VP. So let's have a look at the builds here. So the British player is going for, he's gone Vickers and 3 of Tommies. The Axis player, he has gone 2 engineers and an MG42 and is stacking enough manpower that I kind of think he might be going for a sniper next, I'm going to say. Nope, another squad of Grenadiers is going to come down just as I say that. Okay. Of course, the sniper is like ever a popular choice against the British forces, especially at this time of the game. The British forces don't have access to their own sniper for some time yet, and their infantry is quite expensive, so every shot counts when it's coming from a sniper. Vickers gun here going to get set up in a nice position and a very prompt fallback from these Grenadiers. Clearly Shadowwada no interest in pursuing this engagement, and who could blame him? Those Grenadiers pretty unsupported. Not a lot they would get done there. So minimising the damage there by his early fallback. Some Grenadiers here just going to push through. They're going to get into a building, get a little bit of scouting information. You've got to remember when your forces are in building, if the building is tall like this one, they usually get some extra line of sight. So he's getting a little look here at the backfield of the British player, and you know, if there was an early sniper or something coming to the front, now's when he'd probably see it. That platoon command post is finished, and let's see, Fredbrik stacking, not a lot of supply, sorry, not a lot of resources right now, so it's hard to tell what he's going for, but it'd be nice to see him go for an AEC. It would be, I'd quite like to cast a game where a British player goes for an AEC, an early AEC, and keeps it serviceable and keeps it going like throughout the whole game. That would be really nice. Yeah, of course that unit was changed in the last patch. Of course, it now does increased damage and slightly wider splash damage against infantry forces, so much more effective against a wider variety of targets. And as I said in one of my previous casts, it now doesn't feel like a cheap sort of Puma, because it used to feel like a cheap Puma that kind of cost the same, so it was kind of just a bad Puma. But yeah, now it kind of feels like a faster Stuart with a little bit more poke against tanks, which you know, that's a unit that I'm totally down for. I can use that unit all day. That sounds good to me. These Pioneers are actually going to get surprisingly good engagement. They're actually going to beat these Tommy squads. That's a 200 manpower squad taking down a 280 manpower squad. Of course, positioning was everything on that fight, and by getting up to the point blank range, those Pioneers were able to take it. But kind of an annoying setback there for Fredbrik. And let's just check. What's he researching? Okay, so he's going for a sniper. No Beaufort or AEC research coming down now. And we've got a GR34 centimeter mortar. Oh, GR34. It's not a 34 centimeter mortar. That would be massive. But yeah, we've got a mortar squad here on the field now for the Axis troops. That's going to displace this Vickers. A little frustrating there for the British player, but nothing to write home about. The score lead actually extending for the British player, who now controls both the victory points on the right to just the one for the Axis player on the left. And if you detect the slight note of sort of surprise in my voice there, it's basically because at this stage in the game, it's usually the British forces who are falling behind on victory points. They tend to have fewer units on the field, and they tend to have to play slightly more conservatively and hold a tighter perimeter than the Axis player at this point in the game. But actually getting a lot of good work done here on the left flank, whilst actually maintaining his field presence on the right. Really nice stuff here from Fredbrik. These Tommy's going to punch behind the lines a little bit here, get some decapping done. That's kind of annoying. Another squad of Tommies here backing them up. And actually, if these guys form a rifle line, they may be able to take on these 8 Grenadiers. I mean, this is 7 Tommies with some damage versus 8 Grenadiers, but one of these squads is weak. So if Fredbrik decides to choose a fight here, looks like he's not going to, though. I mean, this is not the behaviour of a player angling for a fight. Although, having said that, maybe he's just falling back to these reinforcing units. Yes, indeed. 3rd squad of Tommies and the SAS sniper with his trusty 55 cal boys anti-materiel rifle gonna come on up here. And that's going to push aside these Grenadiers. So Fredbrik actually pretty much has free reign on the left-hand side of the battlefield. Now, that's not been for free. He's pulled a lot of his units across from the right. There is a Vickers gun way far back here. Actually, you know what? He really wants to get that into this better building here. I know he was getting mortared, and he'll get mortared again, but this is definitely the building for this Vickers to be in until those shells start falling, for sure. But yeah, the Axis player is going to be capping up on the right-hand side of the map. And for now, he does actually control 2/3 of the victory points. That's right, 2 out of 3. Yeah. Oh, we've got an AEC. So the AEC has been researched. Woohoo! Yeah, we're going to get to see an AEC. Come on, Fredbrik. Don't let me down with the micro, my friend. It'll be really, really cool. I really want to see this this AEC do well and start vetting up. So Vickers going to start opening fire on these Grenadiers. It's not Veteran 1 yet, so it doesn't have its extended range, but it's still going to be able to suppress the hell out of these guys and indeed force a fallback. GR34 is going to acquire it and start firing. That will probably force the reposition, but now seems like a great excuse to just jump it into the better building anyway. So Fredbrik's paying attention, and I really rather hope he is. There we go. He's going to move them out just now. Still no Axis response on the left-hand side of the map, and since there's no direct combat going on right now, I'm just going to take this second here to crack the tack and have a little look around the map. So we've got a squad of Grenadiers here, right out on the east flank here, just chewing up some ground. The AEC is going to go straight for this mortar, though, coming on in. The MG42 can't do anything to stop this, and it seems like the AEC is actually going to stop to like fire some lead into this building here in the MG42. And look at the amount of damage it's done. That MG42 was pretty much full health when this AEC showed up. Whoa, mortar getting some good damage on the scout car, though. That's a very short-range shot, just about on the minimum range line there. And whoa, a Panzerfaust could well come down, and there's a 222 in the hood. The Faust is good, so the AEC is stricken, and Fredbrik, buddy, this is not what I had in mind when I said an AEC that's going to last and vet up. Oh, dearie me. So exchanging an AEC there for 3 men off of an MG42 team. I don't think you need to be, you know, a top 100 player to realise that that's not a very efficient or good exchange there for the British player. And I think that was just a chronic overextension, really. I mean, he just threw that in. He'd had very little scouting information. All he really knew was that a mortar was shooting him from out there. And yeah, those Grenadiers able to exploit this line of sight blocker to crack a Faust on in. Smoke came down off the AC, but it wasn't enough, and the 222, all that the Axis player Shadowwada needed to clean up. So Fredbrik there, losing the majority of his money, but wow, he's not shy. He's getting straight back on the horse. Another AEC on the production queue for the British player. So, and wow, going scout car to scout car, another 222 coming out for the Axis player. But make no mistake, this is not an equal investment. The 222 scout car is only 15 fuel, whereas the AEC is like 60, or no, 50 fuel, I think. Yeah, 50 fuel. But, of course, you have to research it for 15, so that's 115 fuel he's put into AECs, against just 30 for the Axis player into the 222s. The AECs, I mean, they ought to take this, but we'll see. If those 222s get any work done, I'm going to be amazed. Now, here come the 222s. Love the choice of camo, by the way. This my preferred skin of choice when I play as Vermax. And they're going to pursue this sniper here. Remember, they do bonus damage to snipers, and this is a nice, juicy 360 manpower unit here. Somewhere on the map, an Axis unit was just now squad wiped, but I didn't see... Whoa! Hasty smoke coming down on the AEC. I think that was a misclick. I don't see the reason to do that there. Now, the 222s are able to do some damage, but it's not very much, actually, and this AEC, boom, chalks off the first scout car. Meanwhile, behind this, there is an infantry battle going on, which I was covering the vehicle battle. But yeah, we've got a few squads of Tommies. They are an arc of this MG42, but not suppressed, so they're going to be able to transition onto the left flank. And I believe they were able to kill some Axis infantry, which actually puts Fredbrik, despite the loss of his first AEC, in a really nice position. He finds himself at 49 supply over 34. If you look at the top left and then look at the top right, you can see his army is better, although possibly slightly less well-rounded. I mean, he has a sniper instead of a mortar, so I suppose they're both about as equally well-rounded. And whoa, this 222 getting super ambitious. I don't know about this. I think the AEC can just chalk it off here. Incendiary rounds being used on the MG42, and that should be enough to turn aside these Tommies. And it is. SAS Sniper is back on the field now, and he's going to start killing this MG42 crew. So, dangerous times for the Axis player, but he's holding it. This Axis hardpoint here, doing well. And to reinforce, we've got a pack gun on the way. So that should provide a pretty hardcore answer to this AEC. Now, interestingly, actually, the British player has never captured these 2 points. He should grab those. Just, okay, yeah, here's a squad of Tommies there. They're going to get those captured. Just because, you know, it's resources, it's useful. You always want to have, you know, the maximum possible resource income. And, you know, if you're going to the trouble of holding all this land, you might as well be reaping the benefits. Vickers gun getting set up in a pretty decent position, actually, covering a lot of very relevant ground on the left flank. Going to make it very hard for Axis forces to access that side of the map. There's a tongue twister going there, surely. Axis forces accessing the annex. Or something, I don't know. So let's have a look at let's quickly check the tech while we've got a moment of quiet. Check the tech for the Axis player. No battle phase 2 yet. He's got like 100 fuel and much less manpower. I'm very surprised that he's not escalating to battle phase 2. Either he's forgotten or he's delaying for some other reason. Or this does allude to the possibility that he may be planning on going for somebody like the mobile defense or the mechanized assault doctrine, who have various call-ins, things like the command Panzer or a Puma, things like that. So he may be holding off that research for now, in anticipation of choosing a commander like that and exploiting those abilities. Fredbrik, likewise, holding back on the choice of commander right now. Hasn't needed anything yet, so it's a nice choice. Let's just take a look. He's got the Commando Regiment, the Royal Engineers, and this guy is the Tactical Support Regiment, so a nice flexible roster there. He doesn't have the good old Vanguard commander, a personal favourite, but we'll forgive him on this occasion. Let's see now. SAS Sniper, only 4 kills on that Sniper, nothing to write home about. And we've got an Axis Sniper, the Major, about to come onto the field. Here he is, the Major. Yeah, getting mine arse out of here. Okay. Okay, that's not a German accent. Okay. What the? Oh, right, the AEC. Whoa, just blasting away a Grenadier there. That's going to force that squad back. So, I don't know. I think the story of this game so far, Fredbrik definitely has the upper hand, and through a phase of the game I wouldn't normally expect, as this pack are going to acquire the AEC and force it back. Through a phase of the game I wouldn't normally expect, typically, I mean, I'm going to say like 80% of games, the British forces are usually trailing in VPs at this point, and have usually taken a bit of a hammering. So, Shadowwada, not able to get that head start that he may be used to, finds himself about 100 tickets behind on supply, but this 222 going to get a fantastic angle on the AEC, and this is kind of the British player's money right now. That's going to go down. That's the second AEC to die. There is a third on the field. This is pretty hardcore commitment. Fredbrik, I'm much obliged to you, good sir, for attempting to show off the new British scout car. I just wish you wouldn't get it tagged by Faustus quite so frequently, but yeah, it's really good that he's built so many scout cars for us to look at, although I feel like they haven't really gotten much done. I mean, yes, they've killed 222s, but we already knew they could do that, and they could do that before the patch. It's I really want to see them lay in some infantry, like, properly. But hopefully we'll still get that opportunity as this game goes on. Puma, though, might have something to say about that. Loving the camo. I know it's the same as the 222s, but it just looks so sweet on the Puma. But yeah, a Puma coming out onto the field, and that's actually, like, basically better than an AEC in a fight between the two. It has more range, slightly better rate of fire, and its gun is just a little better. So this Puma is actually business. Meanwhile, on the right flank here, we've got the MG42 just going to be firing at these Tommies. They won't put up much resistance and will be pushed aside. And actually, the Axis player kind of looking a bit resurgent. His setup on the right flank, very nice. He's got an MG42 and a fantastic building with mortar support. And a pack gun. This is a difficult position to break. A 222 and supporting infantry, which are chewing up ground. We've got a sniper capping as well. So I feel like Fredbrik, if I crack the tack, you can see the British battle line at the moment lies here, and the Axis one here. But the Axis one, if you see, basically covers 2 victory points, whereas the British one only covering this one. So this isn't... I mean, it's sustainable for now, because the Axis haven't actually grabbed this victory point here. But I think Fredbrik's going to need to crack this Axis hardpoint, and I think it should be sooner rather than later. I also think it will be very handy to take this for taking this if he had some indirect fire. A mortar pit constructed somewhere quite defensible, even just somewhere like behind this building or behind the shrub here, would have range over a lot of relevant parts of the map. And weapon teams, as we all know, heavily countered by indirect fire, and the Axis player, most of his strength there is made up of a mortar, an MG42, and a pack gun. And of course, those are all weapon teams. So a couple of 3-inch tubes firing some hot rounds in there could be pretty effective. But we'll see what Fredbrik has lined up. For now, it's going to be a 4th AEC joining his other AEC. Oh, one of them's nearly Veteran C1. Come on, Fredbrik, we believe in the AEC micro. You can do this, my friend. Two AECs going to line up. The Puma comes in. The Puma's first shot misses, so these two AECs are in with a shot now. And actually, this Puma is just like way out of position, and there's no support, is there? No pack gun, no nothing. And that is going to be a dead Puma. So the AECs are able to get a nice kill there. And I believe AECs also do bonus damage to snipers. And Zimajor, swatted down in his prime. The AEC taking no prisoners there. That one's straight up to 2 stars there. A lot of value in that sniper. Another Puma going to come onto the field. Remember, that's just a summon for the Axis player. He doesn't actually have to build that, so he can just click and it instantly arrives. And the 222 is going to come in. It seems like these AECs are grievously overextended. The main gun on one of them is destroyed, and both of the AECs are going to go down. For a split second, I thought one of them was only abandoned, which would have been super insult to injury. But wow, Fredbrik. That's like 4 out of 4 AECs down, and mostly through just grievous overextension. I liked jumping into the base to pick off the sniper, but I think that should have been his objective, and once that was complete, he needed to just disappear back into the fog of war. There was no point staying around. I suppose he might have wanted to pick up one of these Grenadier squads, but Grenadier squads are not super important, and you certainly don't need to commit both AECs to do that. So, I don't know. Seems like an overextension from Fredbrik there. And that's going to cost him a 5th AEC. He is not afraid of this horse whatsoever. He is getting straight back on the AEC saddle here. I mean, I don't know if this is a good choice or a bad choice, but I think from a casting point of view, it's a fantastic choice, because this is exactly what I want to see. So, yeah, it looks like Fredbrik, he's going to rock and roll with the 5th AEC. And you know what they say? 5th time lucky. That's what they say. Honestly, you can Google it. You can just believe me on that one. So, yeah, a 5th AEC coming on out. And he's going to grab a 6-pounder. So, okay, that seems nice, actually. An AEC with a 6-pounder backing it up. That can present, you know, that's like a workable solution for a Puma and a 222. So, yeah, I like the choice from Fredbrik here. He doesn't have his company command post yet, because, of course, he's been funneling all his fuel into these these AECs. He could basically have, like, if he'd have gone for his company command post, he could have had, like, a Centaur and a Cromwell. Okay, maybe not that much, but he could have had one of those and nearly have the other. But instead, no, he's gone for the 5 AEC classic build. So, you know, whatever, mixing it up, making it a bit exciting. Whoa! You know what? This mortar is 3-star vet, has 7 kills. So that is quite the mortar team to be reckoned with. These Tommies taking their lives in their hands, tempting fate here by standing in its range and trying to get some capping done. Ooh! Near miss there for the plucky Brits. And Zimajor, a new Axis sniper, claiming his first headshot there, and he's gonna just chill into. Oh, it looks like he's on hold fire actually. So for now, just providing intel. Although he could just keep hooning rounds. I think. I mean, that AEC probably won't take a dive when you've got the armored advantage. And wow, this 222 also coming up to 3 stars. So Shadowwada, if you look at the amount of veterancy stars over those forces there, clearly preserving his units slightly better than the Axis forces, just slightly better. I mean, that's not a reliable metric at all, but it does give you a feel if you just count the stars of veterancy above the two teams. It does give you a feel for who's been you know, more efficient and preserved their units slightly better in general. So yeah, definitely the Axis player ahead in that regard. 6-pounder gets set up in a fantastic position actually, and there is some nice backup. Where's the AEC in all this? It needs to be here, and it is getting the KO blow on that 222 scout car. So nice moves there for Fredbrik. 6-pounder getting a lot of work done here in a nice commanding position. This is a strong point actually, because it has range almost up into the Axis base, but you can also turn it just to the right here and it can shine through this gap, which actually is probably, you know, that is surprisingly relevant. So that's actually a strong point for the 6-pounder. AEC is going to get destroyed. 2 Pumas, more than a match. That was just off camera as it occurred, but a 6th AEC? Oh my god, if at first you don't succeed, Like, try, and then try again. That is the logic here of Fredbrik. I worry he's falling dangerously far behind. He's at 36 supply, under 66. He is somehow, like, you know, 150-odd, 160-odd tickets ahead in the scoreline, but I feel like an AEC, it's a light armoured choice, and there are 2 Pumas on the field. And at this point, I feel like he's just feeding AECs into the Pumas. I mean, the Dream's still alive. He can still get a nice engagement with the 6-pounder, but and the SAS sniper with the 55 cal sniper rifle. But I feel like it just won't take very much for those 2 Pumas just to like pick off the AEC and then run away again. And let's not forget, I mean, those Pumas, do they have smoke yet? No, because they're not. No, they do have smoke. Wow, they get smoke from Vet Zero. Of course, the Panzer Tactician is on this commander. Right. So yeah, those Pumas can smoke, so they can quite happily come in, take a hit or 2 from the SAS sniper and the AEC, and the 6-pounder, kill the AEC, and then, you know, skedaddle. So that is, I fear for Fredbrik. That is my official analysis. I have fear, and it is for Fredbrik. Let's crack the tack and just get a look here. Whoa, these 2 battle lines very close to each other, and I think the action is about to begin here. This German marksman being very restrained with the trigger finger, obviously trying to bait out the British sniper, who is at the moment actually in the Neavon, in nearby. So we could have a snipe off here. Both snipers set to hold fire, actually. Wise stuff from the 2 players here. Clearly they're like relatively familiar with the Brits versus Wehrmacht meta. LMG 42 Grenadiers here doing their work at long range, as they do. These engineers are in heavy cover though, so they're going to last a little longer. Here come the 2 Pumas though, getting the first hit on that AEC, and I believe it takes 4 hits to kill, so that's 2, or maybe just 3 actually. AEC's going to pop smoke. The 6-pounder's in a good position, and that is covering. One of the Pumas forced back at half health, the other one's going to join it, and this AEC, if it knows what's good for it, please Fredbrik. Please, you're going to lose this 6-pounder, and that just... Oh no, with the 6-pounder down, the gates are open for these Pumas to advance. Remember, British infantry, the Tommies, do not have Panzerfaust or any kind of AT grenade. So Fredbrik in a spot of difficulty here as Axis forces also pressing the right flank. And I don't know. It seems like Shadowwada is going to err on the side of caution here, get this Puma repaired before he recommits it. But I feel like if he took a dive in there, he could have chalked off that AEC, which is right now, wow, awaiting repairs, not even being repaired yet. You know, Fredbrik has nearly enough money for another AEC though, let's not forget that. And, you know, if I know Fredbrik, he'll be building his 7th AEC of the match. So, you know, that could be good. It could be very bad. You know, balancing perspective, it could be very bad. Reasonably speaking, I think it's going to be quite bad, but, you know, it could be good, and but he's determined. He's going to keep it going. He looks like he's going to choose commander. He's going to go for the tactical support regiment. So this is my least familiar commander for the British forces. It's the one that I see the least often and I know the least about. But it has designate command vehicle. That allows you to designate one of your vehicles, which gets massive penalties in terms of movement and fire speed, but buffs all your units around it by quite a lot. The field recovery operation allows you to call in Royal Engineers who can salvage for resources. Air resupply operation, which is what we've just seen, drops medical and weapon supply crates to targeted friendly territories. So seemingly they've gotten a Vickers and a 6-pounder out of that. How much does that cost? 150 munitions! That seems incredibly reasonable. If you're manpower starved, which the Brits always are, you can spend 150 munitions and drop in a Vickers and an AT gun and a 6-pounder. That seems awesome. Wow. Of course, the artillery cover ability, now this I am familiar with. In fact, I cast a game which involved that ability recently. 2v2 on Trois Ponts is the map. So check that out if you want to see the artillery cover really get stuck in. It's very expensive, 250 munitions, but it fires like shells of every available type that are effective against everything, including causing you know, vehicle criticals like breaking engines, jamming turrets. It basically turns armor battles, like it absolutely turns armor battles. So very potent ability there, and it's being used. Here it comes. The artillery cover is being used in this location. This seems to be a bit of a preemptive strike because the enemy's vehicles aren't here, and you normally want to try and catch them. This one-man Vickers hero here, just like British Rambo here, just like unloading with the HMG. He's probably going to die quite soon, but you know, at least he went down like a hero. Tommy's on the left flank here, kind of having a hard time with these pioneers. They're gonna, yeah, there we go. They're gonna turn them aside, but only after taking a reasonable amount of roasting. Now that they can heal, and it seems like the artillery cover is mostly at the moment anti-infantry rounds coming in. Here we go. These sort of Beaufort style rounds coming in on the infantry here, doing some good damage. But I don't know if that represents 200 250 munitions worth of value. And this is what I mean about usually saving that ability to catch your opponent's Pumas. I mean, that was 200, or that is still 250 munitions, which is basically not really achieving a lot. So anyway, seemingly, actually, no, maybe it's doing some work here on the right flank as well. Raining down on the MG42, damaging the building. We've got a scuffle down here in the bottom right here. A couple of infantry. Whoa, these Tommies have been forgotten about. I think Fredbrik stands to get squad wiped here. These LMG42 grenadiers, pretty vicious against infantry, and yeah, that should be all she wrote for these Tommies. Boom. The AEC just going to roll on in and start attacking these grenadiers, but there's a pack gun here, and that's going to screen the AEC back. Actually, you know what? It's managed to find a spot here where it can hit the grenadiers, but is out of range of the pack gun. That's pretty annoying for the Axis player. Going to get 1 star of veterancy. Having killed... Whoa, see, look at the damage. This is on a retreating squad as well. It's doing pretty good damage. Boom! I mean, this is like a Stuart. This is the kind of effect I would... this is the kind of thing I would expect from a... The kind of effect I would expect from a Stuart. There we go. I'll get there in the end. So AC on the kiting duty for now. Ah, Fredbrik, again, like, why use smoke there? That seems like a really weird time. And then he's not even going to get the AC that far back. Like, I worry that his use of smoke is not that efficient, basically. I've seen him use smoke in a couple of like positions and timings which are basically questionable, insofar as I would question them. You guys might be able to see some logic behind it, but I don't know, for me they just seem a little suspect. Couple of Pumas here now being joined by a Panzer IV command tank, and I think that the momentum firmly shifting into the Axis favour. This command tank is just going to roll on through, slicing through mid, going to get right up on top of this 6-pounder. The 2 Pumas are going to come through, and that'll be, you know, a quick solution for this AEC. That goes down. Very, very low kind of durability on AECs, especially when you've got 2 Pumas firing at you, and a pack gun in a nice position as well. So if I crack the tactical map, basically the Axis player Shadowwada is miles ahead, but somehow Fredbrik is being able to maintain his hold on the map. And crucially, the victory points. He's like, you know, he's over 200 points in the lead at this stage. And if he could just hold on, if he just holds on, you know, he should win. He needs to get an infantry squad to capture this. He's not pulling any further ahead right now. The pressure is off. Shadowwada not bleeding at this moment. But I don't know, like, I feel like if Shadowwada just kind of like plucked up his courage and pushed out in a concerted push, he could like annihilate most of this force and take total field control and besiege his opponent in his base. This SAS sniper though, just doing some pretty good effective runs. I didn't see what happened to the Axis sniper. He's gone down somewhere. Possibly the SAS sniper chalked him off. Possibly he just died in the fighting somewhere. But yeah, the SAS sniper right now that there's no Axis sniper, he kind of just has reign of the field though. This Panzer IV is going to be coming on through. 6-pounders, 2 of them in nice positions actually, getting a number of good hits on the Panzer IV command tank. Wow, reducing it down to 1/3 of its health. So Fredbrik there with a pretty clutch defense. I didn't actually see that he had this nice line set up with the Vickers and the 6-pounders, but he does, and that's going to be all he needs to push back the Axis armor for now. So Fredbrik actually getting some work done. On the right hand side of the map though, Shadowwada pushing his advantage here. He's going to be moving up with some infantry and grabbing this all-important victory point, so he's actually going to be closing down that score gap. And since I feel like that's Fredbrik's main way to win right now, pushing his opponent out the game on score, this is super relevant. So looks like to that end he has the 5-man squad upgrade now, obviously, and he's coming out with some Royal Engineers with their Sten submachine guns. These Tommies with rifles going to be coming through here, and that should be enough to push aside these Axis units. Obviously, the Pack 40 pretty much a blank in this fight. And yeah, wow, they did the DPS on those engineers higher than I thought. I wonder if the Piats had any role in that. Of course, Piats are actually reasonable against infantry, like not great, but certainly not as bad as a bazooka or a Panzerschreck or anything like that. That's just Rambo guy, Rambo Tommy with his Vickers again. I've seen so many one-man Vickers squads just firing for Fredbrik. You know, whatever makes him happy, I'm glad, and it seems to be working for him. It's just not what I would say is typical or common practice, which is kind of casting euphemism for like totally suboptimal, but very amusing to be fair. So fair enough. Let's crack the tack here, seeing as how we've got a moment of quiet. So both players re-establishing their battle lines. 2 victory points in British command right now. Panzer IV going to the right flank. Massive wave of German infantry, mostly grenadiers, heading out onto the left flank. There is a sniper and a Vickers kind of nearby. So let's have a look at this infantry fight here. Tommies, they do have a Bren gun, but it's not going to be enough. 2 squads of LMG-42 Grenadiers, pretty good. Boom! One guy getting absolutely shattered by that 55 cal, and a rifle grenade here could be absolutely vicious from the British player. Sorry, for the Axis player. He's going to get a squad wipe on one of the squads of Grenadiers. Wow! Double LMG-42 squad does get created on the backside of that, but what? I did not see that fight going that favourably. Turns out Brits at 3-star in cover with a Bren gun with 55 cal sniper support. I should have known better. Able to decimate the fragile Axis 4-man Grenadier squad. And somehow Fredbrik's kind of pushing up on the Axis base here. Like, I don't think the Axis player is in any serious danger, and he is pushing up on the right, so he's giving as good as he's getting. But I just didn't think Fredbrik would be able to push this far forwards. As the game moves up to the half-hour mark, and we are firmly in the late game now, although it's been heavily delayed, it doesn't feel like the late game because Fredbrik's platoon command post was so massively delayed by all these AECs. Did he just lose an AEC here? That wreck is smouldering a bit. I think he might have just lost his AEC there a little. Oh, well, actually, maybe it was this one. There are just so many AEC carcasses about the place. Anyway, it is difficult to keep track. S-Minefields getting established here for the Axis player Shadowwada in nice positions here on the right flank. That's going to make life really annoying for the British player to recapture these points. He does, I believe, have a metal detector on the Royal Engineers. I can't select them right now because they're falling back, but I believe he does have a metal detector on them. So he's going to be able to defuse those mines, but it's just kind of annoying. It means that he can't just task infantry squads over there to start chewing up land. And Shadowwada no longer under the clock. He's pushing on out. He's got 2 Pumas. He's got supporting infantry. Looks like he really wants the left-hand side of the map as well as the right. And who can blame him? The resource situation has been pretty even this entire game, though, interestingly enough, because neither player has been able really to dominate the map. They both usually just held one half at a time. What the? Did Butterfingers just set off a mine there? How? I don't know why. One of these mines just blew up and like destroyed one of these pioneers. Pretty unfortunate for the Axis player. I don't know what happened there. Maybe he thought, I don't know, maybe he didn't read the field manual for those S-mines, or maybe he was up just a little too late in the officer's mess last night. Who knows? One too many peach schnapps or Jägermeisters. I know you can get schnapps in other flavours, by the way. It's just, obviously, everyone knows that peach schnapps is the classiest. So. Enough about that. Got a little bit of a push here from the British forces. A couple of squads of Tommies coming up. How many? He's floating like 200 munitions. I guess he's going for another artillery cover, but it would be nice to see some more Bren guns on his Tommies. 60 munitions a pop for those, but they are worth it. Pretty powerful stuff. A Cromwell is going to be the weapon of choice here for Fredbrik as we move forward. And I like this choice. I like this choice. There are 2 Pumas on the field, and the Pumas will hose that Cromwell. But if he takes a smart engagement and doesn't expose it for too long against the Pumas, yeah, that Cromwell can do well. And you know, alone the Cromwell will easily take a Puma or this command tank. And with support from the 6-pounders, this could provide the mobile base for a very nice mobile battle plan for Fredbrik. He should not use his designated command vehicle on that, basically because it nerfs the vehicle that you use it on so much. Like, that would just be a complete waste. If he's gonna use that, it should be on a Bren carrier. I was just kind of like wondering, I was just thinking aloud like how he could make more use of these command abilities that he has. But anyway, seems like the Axis player going to be applying some pressure here on the right flank. This Cromwell, whoa! Whoa, it's facing completely the wrong way. Where are you going? If the Pumas come in now, it is over for this Cromwell. Got to be so careful. I don't know why he's facing this direction, and a nice round coming through this line of sight blocker there. I guess that was an attack round shot from the Panzer IV. Gonna just catch that Panzer. Whoa, but the minefield's going off big time. Grenadiers getting destroyed in there. So 3 Grenadiers out of this 3-star veteran squad gonna go down. One of them's gonna get away, so no squad wipe forthcoming. But here comes the Cromwell. He looks like he wants to put on some pressure, but there's a pack gun, there's a Panzer IV command tank, and both of the Pumas, and it's the Cromwell now that is in jeopardy. That's gonna be forced back, and Fredbrik, he has to be so careful. I'm really hoping his micro with the Cromwell's gonna be a bit better than his micro with the AECs. Wow, Grenadier squad and a couple of Flamer Pioneers gonna get on up here. Rifle grenade going to finish off the Vickers gun, and another Vickers gun and the SAS sniper going to save the day for now. But here comes the Panzer IV command tank, and that might have something to say about that. And I don't know, the situation just kind of feels like it's becoming less and less sustainable right now for Fredbrik. He's definitely behind. He does have advantages, he's still got a pretty big, like 180-point ticket lead. That's not nothing. but I feel like he's just far outclassed in terms of the army. He's caught up in terms of army size, more or less. Look at the top left and look at the top right. You know, we've got about the same number of units. We look at the supply. It's 66 under 70. Okay, 78. So slightly smaller army for the British player, but not nearly as bad as it has been. And given the fact that he lost, you know, 6 AECs this game, not nearly as bad as it could be. The Cromwell's going to get repaired, and I tell you what, actually, the nice thing about Cromwell's is they are only 110 fuel, and they do overperform for that fuel value. This is part of the way the British faction is designed. You know, they have to hold on with their like weaker units, and then their armor is pretty damn good and very competitively costed to help them out in the late game. So at 110 fuel per Cromwell, you know, he's got, yeah, this is it, yeah, okay, so he's just spent 110 on another Cromwell, and if he just kind of keeps snowballing up Cromwells, I think that could actually be pretty viable. The Cromwell is very accurate, it's very maneuverable, and let's just check the tech here for the Axis player. Okay, he's gone all the way up to Tech 3, and he does have his heavy Panzer Corps. That being the case, this snowballing of Cromwells will not be good enough, but note to all Wehrmacht players out there, if Shadowwada had not gone to escalate to Battle Phase 3 and did not establish his heavy Panzer Corps, this Cromwell snowballing would be an issue, because he would be relying on Pumas and Panzer Command tanks to deal with it, and it wouldn't be enough. But this, as it is, he's gone to escalate to Battle Phase 3, he's got his heavy Panzer Corps, he's going to be able to call on the armoured might of the Panther tank, and that will dominate Cromwell's all day. That's what it does. It's its raison d'etre, it's its reason in life. Panther Tank was very lucky, actually. He discovered early on at a young age what he wanted to do in life, and he devoted himself to getting better at it. And the Panther Tank we know today is definitely an accomplished medium tank slaughterer. So anyway, looks like the artillery cover going to come down in a really nice position, breaking the engine, jamming the turret on a couple of the Axis vehicles here, also achieving some damage on the infantry. Also, Beaufort rounds kind of landing on this retreating infantry. This Cromwell's going to get right on up. Takes a Panzerfaust, but it was at full health, so no engine braking going to happen. There's a pack gun in the hood, though, so these Cromwells, what he needs to do is reverse move this one round here, whilst forward moving this one like up here, and just get all up around this pack gun. But maybe it's just as well he didn't take my advice, because here come a couple of Pumas, and that would have made that a very sticky situation indeed. And right now, preserving these Cromwells has to be the top priority for the British player. And here he is, just kind of with the back end of this Cromwell hanging out against Fog of War. Puma's going to come in and take advantage of that. There's no smoke on a Cromwell. There is a smoke shell, but only when it's Veterancy 1. So these Cromwells right now have no access to an evasive option. If they get caught out, they are just caught out, you know. So, wow, I feel like he was kind of lucky to get both of his Cromwells out of that, actually, was Fredbrik, and he needs to start repairing them ASAP. This may be a good opportunity to call in. He doesn't have the manpower. 450 required for the field recovery operation. I feel like this one squad of Royal Engineers now insufficient for the needs of the maintenance needs of his armour. I think he needs to consider upping the count there. Tommy squad going to be taking a fight here against LMG Grenadiers. Going to do okay. Unfortunately, no cover for them to use here. Oh, and they are standing in a minefield, although seemingly they're just going to tank that. They can eat mines all day. Taking a bit of damage, but nobody died, so anyway. Vickers gun, again set up in a really nice position. And I have to say, if there's one thing Fredbrik's done really well this game, it has to have been consistently setting up Vickers guns in this location and making life kind of really annoying for the Axis player on the left flank. And it's not just this Vickers gun. He's also had Vickers guns like in and around these locations, just making it really hard for the Axis player to access this side of the map. With the support of the SAS sniper, he's kind of had a stranglehold on this area of the map, which is great. It's just not enough, because the Axis player holds the right. And, you know, he has 2 victory points right now. And that score gap closing down was over 200 tickets, now down to just 120. So, Fredbrik has time, though. He definitely has time. And a British player with time is not dead. If there's one faction that can come back given time, well, it's all of them, but especially the British, because, you know, they get some really nice late game toys. I'm talking here about the Firefly and their choice of the Churchill or Comet tank. Finally, some Axis forces going to displace some Tommies here and look to get some work done. This Vickers gun, now the only thing holding, but a timely rifle grenade. Boom! That's going to be a 4-man squad wipe. Touch unlucky for the British player there, or lucky for the Axis player, depending on how you look at it. Yeah, a squad wipe going to come down, and, you know, this is Company of Heroes 2. That's what rifle grenades do. From time to time, you're going to lose a complete MG crew to a rifle grenade. It's what you sign up for anytime you press start matchmaking, really. To that end, Fredbrik's going to just accept that and reman the Vickers. Looks like the Puma's going to come across here and take advantage of the weaker armor on the side here. I always say weaker armor, and I hope I'm not misleading anybody out there. Actually, I'll get onto that in a second. Panzerwerfer barrage going to come on in. Looks like it's going to have chosen this location. Catches a 6-pounder nicely, and a Cromwell. But actually, wow, given the accuracy of the barrage, doing very little damage. Only one like crewman on this 6-pounder going to go down, which means it's actually going to get like 2 hits onto this command panzer. 3 Cromwells are here, and this is probably enough. This is probably enough if he wants to press the issue. Wisely, the Axis player Shadowwada going to start kiting with the Pumas well in advance, but the Panzer IV command tank isn't that fast, so that's going to be forfeit. And now the Cromwells can just fall back and repair. And this is kind of what I was on about when I said he can just kind of snowball his Cromwells. But he can't snowball them if he starts losing them, and he's going to get one down. He's going to lose one as the Pumas push back in. He's been Fausted on another Cromwell, and this is some kind of really smart play here from the Axis player. Actually, if he Fausts this Cromwell as well, actually it won't break the engine, but this is exactly what he needed to do. Just come back in, start kiting these Cromwells, uses an engine stunning round. A Faust comes down on a nice on this Cromwell, and yeah, that is a textbook good engagement for the Axis player there, using these Pumas very nicely. And the way I always think about it is, if you can micro a sniper well, as in keeping him in range of the opponent, but so they're out of range. There's like a sweet donut-shaped like band in the sniper's range, where he's in range, like, and the opponents aren't. Imagine a donut shape with the sniper in the middle, and that's the sweet spot that you want to keep your opponent's units in that donut. So you're shooting them and they're not shooting you. It's the exact same with a Puma when you're fighting medium tanks. Anytime you see a Sherman, or a Cromwell, or a T-34, T-34-85, pretty much all of the medium tanks really, just keep that Puma in its sweet spot donut where you're plinking them down at long range and they can't hit you back. And that is what Shadowwada kind of did there. When the Cromwell surged forward, he kited back. Then when he had the upper hand and he had a Faust and a bit of disruption going on in here, he came back to the Pumas and came in, and then the injured Cromwells tried to push at the Pumas, and the Pumas just kited back. And the end result was 3 dead Cromwells and only 1 dead Panzer IV command tank. Pretty good trade for Shadowwada. Now here comes another Panzerwerfer barrage, landing in a very nice location, instantly destroying a squad of Tommies there. So things going from bad to worse right now for Fredbrik. He's trying to replace his Cromwells that he just lost, but now he needs that manpower to reinforce squads and replace these infantry losses as well. And I feel like the tide may just be too much. I feel like Shadowwada has critical mass here, and he may just be able to push for the win if he decides to. I mean, that's definitely the riskier line. And you know the good old real-time strategy saying, when you're ahead, get more ahead. I don't know if that's really that well known or if that's just Day 9 who says that, but anyway, shout out to Day 9 for his awesome sayings. And also, yeah, when you're ahead, get more ahead. So what that basically means is, you know, when you're ahead, don't feel like you have to just try and close the game, end the game with a push, and you know, try and like force your opponent out of the game and just go for the throat because you're ahead. No, when you're ahead, just play it passively. Just get more ahead. When your opponent tries to do something, slap them down with your vastly superior force. Get more ahead. Yeah, Shadowwada embodying that sort of philosophy of RTS here. And I have to say, I think in the early game he was a touch too conservative, he was a touch too defensive. I feel like his 2 Pumas were inactive for a long time. I'm sure there were no armoured targets on the map, but they could have just been ransacking around the map, just kind of mowing down infantry and, you know, scouting, that kind of thing. I think he could have pushed a bit harder, but I think now he definitely does detect that the blood is in the water. And to that end, this Panzer IV command tank is going to come in, take a dive, going to try and chalk off some infantry squads here. Of course, the Brit forces, as I said before, they don't really have any anti-tank grenades or anything, so there's no way the engine on this Panzer IV is going to get broken. So he's going to be able here to, as you can see, kite around and get some losses inflicted there for very little damage. And here come the 6-pounders, but too little too late. And that Panzer IV command tank is going to escape. It takes a couple of hits, actually. The turret gets jammed, but it's going to get out. Panzerwerfer rolling into position. And with the intel provided from that Panzer IV command tank, this should be a reasonably accurate barrage. Let's see where he decides to place it. Yeah. Kind of okay. Getting a level of veterancy on that Panzerwerfer now. I believe that means that it can reload faster. Oh, no, the counter-barrage veteran ability. Ugh. Ever useful. I say through like thick sarcasm. Basically, this is one of those veterancy abilities that I think really needs revising. I never see it used. I never see, and you know, I don't think I've ever seen it do anything in a game really. The only time I ever use it is on the GR34 mortar squad if I don't know where their mortars are and I just want to be sure I get the first shot on them as soon as they start opening fire. But even then, I'm usually happier just kind of manually putting down counter barrages myself. So yeah, not the most thrilling veteran ability there. But Fredbrik is defending his base. He has another Cromwell, and he's definitely not out of this yet. I think that this Cromwell is a mistake. I think trying to snowball Cromwells earlier was valid, and you know, he had a shot with that. He was definitely in with a shot with those 3 Cromwells that he managed to snowball up to. But I think the time for snowballing Cromwells is well over. Your opponent has some nicely vetted Pumas, has a pack gun, has a Panzer IV. I don't think you're ever going to snowball enough Cromwells to get through that. So I think right now what you need to do is pivot, save up just 40 more fuel or 45 more fuel, and go for a Firefly, and that enables you to start taking a different type of engagement, and that enables you to start threatening your opponent's units, even though there's this many of them. Yes, the Firefly could get overrun by 2 Pumas. Yes, you'd have to be very careful with it and support it very nicely, but I still think that the Firefly would give you slightly more play against this composition here than the Cromwell would have. And he does have the fuel. You know, this could have been a Firefly. So anyway, seemingly this Cromwell's going to try and get some work done. Wow, not even in... Okay, no, he has the munitions, he just hasn't taken the Tank Commander upgrade, so that needs to come down at the earliest possible opportunity. Panzerwerfer's going to fire in once again, though. And wow, that 3-star squad of Royal Engineers going to just by the skin of its teeth get out of there. Very nearly squad wiped. So a lucky turn there for Fredbrik, because if he loses any infantry squads at this stage, it's just putting him so far behind, because he either has to soldier on with 1 fewer infantry squads, or he has to delay his tanks, and both of those are pretty much lose-lose options. So yeah, keeping those Royal Engineers alive, probably a slightly bigger deal than it seems. Vickers gun going to get set up in Fredbrik's customary nice position, but yeah, that's the sound of a rifle grenade, and boom. Wow, actually only killing 1 man. So that Vickers gun going to get out of there. GR34 here, up to 25 kills. Oh, dearie me, that GR34 has been allowed to run rampant for just too long. 25 kills is like pretty good against Soviets. Against British, it's like eye-watering. Soviets, like their infantry is cheaper and just more numerous, and their squads are bigger, and like they just conscripts, like the reinforced cost on conscripts is like half that of Tommies. So. Wow, that's a pretty good kill count for against British forces. Anyway, the Cromwell's repaired. There's a 6-pounder here ready to support. A couple of squads of Royal Engineers with Piats. Looks like Fredbrik's going to try for a final operation, perhaps here on the right flank. The Axis battle line does await him, and it is well supported. Although, wow, a bunker getting produced in a fantastic position here. But I worry he doesn't... Okay, he's got 1 squad of Grenadiers. That should be enough. Okay. I just worry that he doesn't have quite enough like core infantry frontline fighting units over here. A squad of Panzer Grenadiers would actually really seal the deal for me. That would make me feel a lot happier about Shadowwada's position in this game. In fact, the Panzer Grenadiers to some extent are also quite a nice counter against the prospect of a potential future Firefly. You don't have to buy them the Panzer Shreks until you even see that Firefly, but it's just nice to be halfway there by having the squad before you need it. And they just, you know, the Panzer Grenadiers just positioned like here in this light cover would just be massacring all these guys. Of course, they are mid-range specialists, and they would totally munch all these dudes. So yeah, a nice Axis battle line here. Totally repelling so far the British forces. This sniper doing reasonably well. I say reasonable. 42 kills. So, wow, yeah. Again, credit where credit's due. Fredbrik not having the best game here. He's lost a lot of stuff, and he's definitely getting beaten right now. But this sniper, 42 kills. That is really good. I can't remember the last time I had an SAS sniper up to 42 kills. Oh, the GR34 gonna just chalk off that 6-pounder though, and another hit will actually destroy it. The gun itself is on no health. Look at the rate of fire. That is 1 GR34, by the way. It's just raining the shells in. That tube must be like red hot. Yeah, the 6-pounder in a very nice position. Cromwell also in a decent position, but the turret stun comes down off the Pumas, and the Panzer IV and the 2 Pumas going to be more than enough to destroy that Cromwell. So that's going to go down. The Panzer IV command tank overruns onto the only piece of AT remaining, or hard AT remaining, for the British forces. Now, there are a lot of Piats dotted across various squads here, but I think if the Axis player Shadowwada is smart, and he's certainly demonstrated that he is so far, he shouldn't allow this Panzer IV to get caught by any of these Piats. Ooh, having said that, it's taking an awful lot of damage just kind of teetering around here in front of a kind of a concave of Piat-equipped infantry units, so he wants to stop that. Whoa, and hitting a mine on the way out. Nice positioning there from Fredbrik. So this Panzer IV is a little stricken right now. It's dangerous to pursue, I think, for the British player. Some kind of gravinomic gravitic anomaly going on there with all the debris. But yeah, he's desperately trying to pursue this Panzer IV. The SAS sniper trying to line it up, and an aimed shot would be just the ticket here, but it looks like he's going to have to abandon the chase. Just too many supporting units. You know what would have been really nice there? He just got that sniper into light cover, so he just camoed up. He could have continued pursuing the Panzer IV, tried to take one final shot on it, thrown the sniper's coordinated fire flare onto this mortar team, and then backed out. That would have been a nice little possible move that he could have tried for there, in my mind. Whoa, going for a 5th Cromwell, or is this a 6th? 5th or 6th? This doesn't strike me as wise. I think he needs to pivot and change his strategy. You know, I just don't think... I mean, it's possibly even too late for that, but I think he needs to try and change it up here. I don't think another Cromwell is going to achieve any more than this last one did, or indeed the one before it. I think his best chance of getting anything done with Cromwells was when he had 3 of them, and I just think Cromwells right now, they're just like diminishing returns. Oh, and a Panzerwerfer barrage chalking off a 3-star squad, and I feel like that pretty much has to be the GG moment here, as Fredbrik's forces down to just 5 squads of infantry. He's desperately building another Cromwell, which I believe he actually just cancelled and then restarted. He should cancel that and just get a Firefly. Who cares if it dies because your opponent's dived in? At least you changed your strategy and, you know, had a chance, a chance. A Firefly, well supported, will at least force the German player to try and take it in a fight. And that might cause him to make a mistake, Another Cromwell, like, you just know he's already got all the tools he needs to deal with that. Speaking of which, actually, whoa, where did one of the Pumas die? Oh my goodness, Magpie, what are you doing? I need to get better at paying more attention to RTS games. Damn it. Anyway, yeah, a Panther tank going to be the next weapon of choice here for Shadowwada, and I feel like with this, he's just covering all his bases. If a Churchill rolls up, he's got it covered. This is pretty good. Anyway, actually, this 6-pounder going to take out the bunker here. Engineers coming on forward to try and grab a victory point, and what? Shadowwada behind this. Okay, he does have Grenadiers out capping ground on the map, but he never actually grabbed this victory point behind that dominating push of his. And with the Brits grabbing this one, Fredbrik is actually not bleeding out. This mortar squad, 30 kills now. Come on, Mr. Sniper. Take them out. He needs one more hit on this mortar squad and it will be disbanded. The fallback comes down. The sniper's going to have time for one shot. He gets it! There we go. And I don't know, the only SAS sniper that, I mean, because I always call the German sniper the Major, so I'm trying to think of a name for this British sniper. I feel 47 kills, he's earned himself a name. And the British sniper in a ghillie suit that everyone knows best is called Captain Price from the Call of Duty games. But I feel like Captain Price has different connotations for the Company of Heroes community, because of course he's one of the characters, at the top end of the game. One of the players who indeed I've cast on this channel. So I can't really call him Captain Price, that's just kind of confusing. I don't know. British snipers, famous British snipers from the films and whatnot. Let me know down in the comments. If somebody could just give me an idea, that'd be great. I'm trying to think of like a film with a British sniper in it now, but I just can't think of any. 200 points remaining. What's a really British sounding rank? The Colonel. Oh, well, that's kind of been like Americanized with like the Colonel. Enemy forces are securing our territory. I don't know. I still might call him the Colonel. Seems like that mortar tube has been recollected here. A couple of Grenadiers gonna make a grab on that one. They get forced back for now, but they're going to escape with what they came for, and that is of course the mortar tube. The Panther's going to reveal itself here, and the MG42 pintle mount is complete on that one, so it is actually going to be doing some damage against this infantry. The Cromwell is on the field, and that is just going to be rumbling along here, right out on the left flank. And I think if you're going to use a Cromwell, if a Cromwell is the choice, then, I think deploying it way out in left field, doing a weird strat, and, trying to throw your opponent off a little bit is the way to use it. I think this is a dive too far, though. This single Puma may be enough to solo this. Yeah, what is he doing? What is he doing? This is a gross overextension. Oh, well, this Cromwell's going to go down for, like, nothing. Not the best Cromwell there, Fredbrik. What's going on? I like deploying it over here. I don't like throwing it into the opponent's base, though. That seems silly. And, like, not so long ago I was saying, oh, this is the GG moment. Fredbrik's down to 5 squads. Well, actually, he's up to 10 now. He's managed to grab his 6-pounders back. He had a Cromwell for a second there. Actually, that was almost back to not being over. But I feel like with throwing that Cromwell away, I just don't know what he can do now. You know, like before he lost that Cromwell, he was at like nearly 80 supply, and the Axis player was only up at like, you know, 80, 90. So I feel like there was possibly a chance of a Hail Mary, which has been passed on there. A shame, but you know, seems like Shadowwada really wants to end this one now. He's pushing forward with a lot of stuff, pretty much all Axis units converging on this location, those that aren't capping on the left flank. The command tank and the Panther tank just going to be ripping on through here. There is a 6-pounder, which he seems to have neglected to take out. That's kind of in their rear armour now, so a rifle grenade from these Grenadiers is going to be needed, but they're kind of dealing with these engineers. So this 6-pounder is kind of going to get some hits in here. Panzerwerfer barrage coming in, that's going to kill one squad of engineers, again leaving this 3-star squad alive though. Kind of unlucky for Shadowwada, I feel like he should have got that maybe. But another squad wipe coming down on this Vickers gun, and you know, Shadowwada just coming in, inflicting grievous losses and managing to sneak away again with all his units. Another Panther entering the field now, wow. I mean, that is insurmountable odds. That is insurmountable firepower, I think. I really do. Basically. These two 6-pounders, though, are the saving grace for Fredbrik, and the only reason why he's not out of the game right now. Another squad of Royal Engineers going to be coming in. And, like, what? He's got so much fuel. He doesn't need Royal Engineers. He's got 2 squads of them already. What is he doing? This is so bizarre. I feel like if he would cancel these Royal Engineers, he'd be most of the way there to getting a Firefly. Maybe he just thinks a Firefly won't hack it. You know, against two Panthers, a Panzer IV command tank, and a Puma. You know, actually, I'll be honest, a Firefly really doesn't hack it. So maybe he's saying, maybe Fredbrik's thinking here is, if I just go for an infantry-only force, I'll have more capturing ability. I can hopefully hold on to 2 of the victory points and negate a lot of my opponent's force, because whilst Panthers with the pintle mount are okay against infantry, they're not like super efficient, you know, they're not great, they're not like amazing in a fight. The Puma pretty much does nothing against infantry. The 2 Pioneers, they're not super great against infantry. The Pack Gun does nothing against infantry. So if you have an infantry-only force, you kind of only need to look out for the Panzerwerfer, the Mortar Squad, and these 2 Grenadiers, and of course the Panzer IV. And to a smaller extent the Panthers. So, I don't know, maybe he's kind of, by denying his opponent any armoured targets, he's actually somewhat reducing the efficiency of the German force. It's an odd way to think about it, but it may actually be okay. I mean, he is at 70 supply, so he still has quite a lot of units, and he has Piats across many of his squads, which means that they can... Look, I mean, he's got this Panther down to half health. And that's with Piats mainly, I think. Maybe a 6-pounder hit from earlier, actually Piats. And you can just hear the constant launching of Piats. He's kind of chasing this armour! He could get the Panther! Oh, the amount of Piat shots that missed there! They were swarming the Panther, but somehow none of them hit. Panzerwerfer barrage is going to come down, but it's kind of too far back. Yeah, kills like 1 man on a 6-pounder. And what the Piats? He just snipes a Puma. Fredbrik, what the? Oh my god! Don't overextend, mate. Don't get carried away. Whoa, Fredbrik, where are you going? You've gotten a Puma. This is looking really. Are you what? It's only a tech building, mate. This is so okay, he's going to come for a tech building. Fair enough. I feel like this is a bit of an overextension, though. Oh my god, the damage on this. That's so many Piats. Okay, I've never seen Piat spam. Piat spin? No idea what that is. That sounds like some kind of, like, Eastern European brand of, like, ham or something. Piat spim. Muchos, grande, tasty. That's probably grossly offensive to everyone everywhere. But, you know, I've kind of been that way since 1987, so I might as well keep going. So, yeah, these engineers, the Piat Blob, as it shall now be known, like, a Panzerwerfer away from being destroyed, but for now, kind of ruling the field, awkwardly pushing back all this Axis armour, and, you know, Wehrmacht have to repair for ages with their slow old Pioneers, so, I don't know. I feel like there's a real shot here for Shadowwada to get pushed out of the game on victory points. I mean, he's 53 tickets ahead. He's 53 tickets ahead, but he was bleeding at triple rate for a while there. He's going to stabilise slightly by using this Pack Gun to grab 1, but it's going to be quite hard with this force to grab either of the other 2 points. Now, he's kind of going to get a freebie here. Rifle Grenade's going to see to this Vickers gun. Okay, maybe not. But okay, here comes. Okay, so Grenadier's going to see to this Vickers gun. He's going to grab this one, so that means he's not bleeding for a while. Here comes the Blob of danger, the Blob of glory. And that should be enough to take it back. So Panther, whoa, okay, now, aha. Panzerwerfer here is in a great location. And there's a choke here. If he positions the barrage there, he can see these forces now with his grenadiers. He must be thinking of aiming the Panzerwerfer. Is he going to wait, or is he going to deploy it now? Is he going to wait until they stand and engage, or is he going to deploy it? Now, he has to deploy it soon. If they keep pushing, the minimum range on a Panzerwerfer is probably about here. Okay, the shots are being taken now. And you have to think this is right here. The British player has to either push forward or attack. He's going to attack. He gets past the barrage, but he gets suppressed. Brutal suppression. Does the Panzerwerfer suppress? What? I did not know the Panzerwerfer suppressed. That is news to me. And, okay, that has to be it. That has to be it. These Panthers have to beat these engineers here. They have to. There's a bloody comet on the way. If Fredbrik wins this, it will be the most sheer-minded, bloody determination I've ever seen. Like, I can't believe what I'm seeing. How are all these squads still alive? They're battered and bruised and wounded, and I think he lost like one squad of engineers. But this is very much still a combat-capable force. And, I mean, certainly if you look at the top left and you look at the top right, those two armies, it doesn't look like the British forces match up that badly. And with a comet on the field? I don't know. Can he still build the comet? Oh my god, yeah, his company command post survived with a pixel of health. Fredbrik, what are you like? This is nuts. It seems like all of the Axis armor are just going to come across here and just push away these engineers. But, I don't know, that almost feels like a win for Fredbrik, because now he knows it's kind of green light to push on this point. So, I don't know. I don't know. Panzerwerfer going to fire again. And this is the big fear, because one big Panzerwerfer barrage, this could all be over, but that was kind of a nice split there from Fredbrik. Just, he must have suspected that was the target, and, you know, just his units there nicely dodged. Rambo on the Vickers here, again, one-man Vickers team, Fredbrik de rigueur, standard style. And I mean, this game is, I can't believe I'm saying this, but I think this game's actually alive. Fredbrik may have a very real chance to win here. He needs to be careful, though. He is now under the clock again, and at 2 points per tick. He needs to... this sniper needs to be capping this point. This is of the essence. I can't believe he's moving this sniper further away rather than closer to that point. But clearly he feels more comfortable preserving that sniper. I just feel we're in that stage of the game now where every victory point matters. I mean, he's got a comet. I did not anticipate this ever happening this game. He's going to need to be on point with his micro, though, and I feel like it's fair to offer this criticism of Fredbrik that his vehicle micro hasn't been that great this game. You know, he's lost a number of Cromwells that didn't need to die, and certainly a couple of AECs through overextensions. And, you know, he's down at 62. I mean, every second he waits here is costing him so dearly. He needs to make a move. I feel like he could push with the... Okay, the Panzerwerfer's just revealed itself. Let's see if he pushes with the Comet. No? Okay. That is a time when I would deem it not to be an overextension, because he would only have to push with the Comet to here or here, and then it would take, bang, one shot, and I believe a Comet will one-shot a Panzerwerfer. Even if it doesn't, he'd only have to stay for 2 shots. It's not that long, and he hasn't seen the Axis armor since he saw it over here. It's reasonable to assume, especially if you're good with your ears and you can listen in the fog of war for those telltale Axis armor moving sounds, you know, the rumble of tanks and the groan of treads. You know, it's reasonable to assume that that was a legitimate time to poke with the Comet. And there's a very big difference between overextending gratuitously with the AECs, which is what Fredbrik was doing earlier this game, and what I'm suggesting now, which is a calculated poke to within a safe margin of risk. You know, it is definitely a risk bringing the Comet forward, but it is a safe risk. You're not bringing it forward that far. And, you know, according to the best of your intel, the German armoured forces were elsewhere, and there was a very nice target of opportunity, which you wouldn't have needed long to destroy. So, I'm not suggesting that he take a massive dive or anything. I'm just saying he could. There was a window there where he could have poked off the Panzerwerfer, I guess. But again, it's all very good and well for me to make these observations. I'm up here in like God mode observer tower, and you know, he's down there with the fog of war and a million dudes screaming at him and all kind of other concerns. So, you know, it's not as easy as I make out by any means. His Axis forces here repositioning, transitioning back to the right. Fredbrik now perilously low at 31 supply, and even though he's only losing at one ticket per tick, it's looking to disappear now. That pack gun is in a fantastic position. He can't... What is he doing committing this comet? Oh, Fredbrik. Fredbrik, buddy. That's 3 hits. He's going to take a 4th. Fredbrik! There's a pack gun, buddy! You need to reverse your comet, guy! There we go. Whew.
The enemy has 25 points remaining.
Rambo Vickers man. Okay, he's gonna go down. He tried. Rambo Vickers man. Wow, the Piet barrages! That sound of so many Piets being launched simultaneously. Oh, taking off a third or so of this Panther's health. I mean, like, those are actually legitimate damage dealers. Like, real stuff is happening on the back of these dudes with Piets. I am sort of flabbergasted. I mean, that's how he's still in the game, though, and they're doing well for him, you know? He's even got 2 units of Tommies with medkits, kind of keeping these guys reasonable health. Anyway, Panzerwerfer's going to fire again. 32 kills on this Panzerwerfer. I don't know where the shots are landing. Sounds like they're coming further back, and they're coming all the way back to the British base. Finally, 2 squads of engineers with a lot of veterancy on them do go down in the barrage. I kind of feel like that has been overdue for some time now. And, you know, we're back down to 5 squads and a super damaged tank here for Fredbrik. He's on 11 tickets of score here. There is no way. There is no way. Finally, I think it's safe to roll out the body bag. Fredbrik, you've had it. But actually making that a much more entertaining game than I thought it was going to be, as Fredbrik chooses this moment to GG out. Yeah, actually making that game a lot closer than I thought it would be, and it's fair to say more entertaining in the end than I thought it was going to be, and proving the worth of Piats there. I mean, I know you can dodge them with tanks, and if you're really like hot on your micro, you know, you can make a Panther run through Piats without taking very many hits. But it's very easy. It doesn't take long for just a couple of hits to sneak onto your tanks, and those Piats do so much damage that's pretty real. And when he poked off that that Panther, I think it was like around here, like with the barrage, I was amazed. I am going to be using Piats much more extensively. Typically, when I play UKF, I just put 4 Piats, 2 on each of my 2 squads of Royal Engineers, unless my opponent's doing something absurd that warrants more, or I'm doing something absurd. But I'm going to be using Piats a lot more. I am super convinced that those looked really strong. And actually, you know, they were so strong that he was kind of almost able to make a game of this, despite the fact that he'd lost 6 or 7 AECs in the early game, and then like 4 or 5 Cromwells. So yeah, good game. Thanks for the entertainment there, Fredbrik. Nice stuff. Shadowwada, a competent, smooth Vermac play, and yeah, very good to see. Hopefully I'll catch some more games from these players on the ladder. Yeah, I guess that's it from me. So for now, this will be Magpie 842 signing out.